Hi, this is Crystal from Food Frugalista, and today we're going to talk about how to can chicken. It's actually really easy, and so I'm going to walk you through it and show you just how easy it is. So all you need to do to get started is to have your chicken. So here is my chicken. I've cut off the fat and cut it into little cubes. Now you don't have to cut it, it doesn't really matter how big the slices are that you cut it into, because when you process it, the chicken becomes very fine in shreds, and so you can cut the pieces as big or as little as you want to. We've got our cans. I've already washed these, and you can see I've put about ½ teaspoon of salt in the bottom of each one, and you can vary that depending on your taste. You don't have to put salt in, or you could put more than that if you want. But if you do use salt, you want to use a canning salt. If you just use normal table salt, it leaves a film in the bottom of the jar. And then of course we've got our pot to boil water in for the lids, and we've got our canner that's full of water up to the first tick mark right here, and some vinegar as well, about 2 tablespoons of vinegar in there so that we don't leave hard water stains on the jars. And we've got our funnel as well. So today I'm going to can the chicken cold pack. Now you can either do cold pack or hot pack. Cold pack is easier, and so that's what I always do for chicken. So what you do is, this is just raw cold chicken that we're going to put into the jars and fill with lukewarm or cold water, it doesn't really matter. And then we're going to put it into the canner, and in the canner it's going to be cold water as well. And then we'll heat it all up together, and that way we don't get any jars cracking. If you put a cold jar and do hot water, it will crack, which has happened to me before, and that's not pretty. Alternatively, you can hot pack, and that would mean that you would just take the chicken and boil it, and then pack it while it's hot into the jars, put boiling water into the jars, and then put the jars into the canner when the water in the canner is boiling. So either way is fine, but I find it a lot easier to cold pack. So now I've filled up all the jars with chicken and kind of mashed the chicken down with my little, what do we call it, a bubble remover. It's plastic. You can use any plastic utensil. You don't want to use metal because it scratches the glass and then makes your jars likely to break. So you want to use plastic to kind of push the chicken down. You don't want to make it too firmly packed in there, but just kind of push it down so you can get as much in there as you can. And then you want to pour some water into the jar, and then get your air bubbles out by just using this tool to kind of scrape down the sides of the jar. And then make sure that the water is covering the chicken, and it looks like we're good. So the last thing we do before we put the lid on is we make sure to wipe the rim of the jars so to make sure that they're clean so that we get a good seal. The jar lids have been boiling here for about 3 minutes. Just take one out, put it on our jar. Okay, I just put the ring on. I would have shown you how to do that, but I don't have 3 hands and I don't have an extra cameraman to help me out today. So you just put the ring on. You don't have to tighten it very tight, just as tight as your hand can comfortably do. And then we're going to go ahead, put this in the canner, and then we'll do the other jars and put them all in there together and heat up the water and the jars together. One other thing that I forgot to mention is that you want your chicken to be more than 1 inch away from the top of the jar, because it does expand during processing, and so you want to make sure that it has enough room to do that. Okay, we've got all the cans in the canner. You can see it's starting to get hot. We've got some steam rising. So we're going to go ahead and put the lid on. Okay, steam has been exhausting for about 10 minutes, and so we're going to go ahead and put the pressure regulator on. And once that starts rocking back and forth, we can start our processing time. Okay, the pressure regulator is rocking back and forth. That means we've achieved the proper pressure And so we're going to go ahead and turn the heat down a little bit. And then set our timer. Okay, so now the timer has run out, and so all we're going to do is just turn off the burner and let the canner cool down by itself because it's extremely hot under pressure right now. Okay, this is chicken that I canned previously and just opened up. I just wanted to show you what it looks like when it's done. You can see it's all kind of clumped together in one big chicken heap, but it's very, very tender, and so it shreds really easily and is really juicy and yummy.